Good morning. Why deals die in due diligence and how to prevent it. And most commercial real estate deals don't die because of price. They die after contract during due diligence when reality collides with our assumptions that we make. And you may see that leases don't match the rent roll, or zoning isn't what the buyer expected, or deferred maintenance just shows up all at once. And when that happens, buyers retrade, lenders hesitate, and sellers lose leverage. The good news is that most due diligence failures are preventable with early preparation and broker led deal hygiene. So let's look at the most common due diligence deal killers. Number one, lease surprises. So leases are the heartbeat of the value and often the first red flag in your first line of defense. So common issues include your rent roll doesn't match the executed leases that you have, or there's undisclosed concessions or side agreements that are not reflected, or there's short remaining lease terms on stable tenants, or some termination clauses that buyers didn't price in. So, simple fix, here's the light bulb. Clean, reconciled leases are reviewed before going to market. Two is zoning and use conflicts. So buyers assume existing use is equal to a compliant use, and that's often wrong. And problems can arise when properties are legal nonconforming or expansion plans violate current zoning, or your parking ratios don't meet current code and you have to expand your parking lots, or municipal use restrictions surface later in the process. So the light bulb fix here is verify the zoning, the permitted use, and your expansion rights early. Don't guess. Trust but verify. Three is deferred maintenance and CapEx shocks. So deferred maintenance doesn't just reduce NOI, it kills trust. And buyers will walk away when they discover a roof's at the end of the life and it wasn't disclosed, or an HVAC that's near failure that wasn't disclosed, or electrical or plumbing upgrades that are needed that weren't disclosed, or if there's also environmental or drainage issues, especially for expansion. So the light bulb fix there is pre-sale inspections and realistic CapEx disclosures are going to protect your pricing. And why early preparation protects your pricing. So when sellers wait for buyers to uncover problems, the power shifts instantly. And prepared sellers are controlling the narrative by talking upfront and disclosing. But it also helps you justify pricing with supported documentation. And the big one here is it's going to reduce your retrade risk, and which accelerates buyer confidence. And we attract stronger, lender ready buyers. Now, unprepared sellers can invite price reductions or extended escrow periods or just failed financing for your buyers. But also reputation damage in the market because the longer a property sits, people are wondering, like, what's going on? But broker led deal hygiene, it's the difference between closing and collapsing. So professional CRE brokers like myself don't just want to market property. We're here to engineer clean deals. And what I mean by broker led deal hygiene is it's going to include lease audits and summaries, projections for NOI normalization, zoning and use verification, but also CapEx transparency if we can see something that may need fixing, and buyer qualification before we sign an LOI, but also lender aligned underwriting. In EXP commercial, deal hygiene isn't optional. It's just how pricing is protected and transactions close. And buyers, your due diligence is your credibility test. So sophisticated buyers don't nitpick, they're going to verify. And clean diligence tells lenders, sellers, as well as their partners that you know how to underwrite a deal is the one angle, but you understand risks and you can execute on your plan. And that credibility often matters more than a headline price. So here's the final thought. Deals don't die in due diligence. They die from poor preparation. And due diligence isn't to blame for killing deals. Unprepared sellers and assumption-based underwriting on the buyer side do. And when you're selling or buying, Disciplined preparation is the difference between a clean closing and a quiet collapse. And nobody wants that. So if you want a pre-sale diligence checklist or buyer underwriting framework, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Please visit my website, HoustonRealEstateBrokerage.com, to figure out how to get hold of me. Love to talk more.